So I thought I'd share a technique I've been experimenting with for adding complex seams to complex models for 3D printing. I've only got a very small desktop printer, so if I want to print off anything at a reasonable size, I have to come up with different ways to divide it up. So here is one of the sample models that I've Z-remeshed already, and what I want to do is add this kind of jigsaw like seam to the arm. So to do that, I will grab the lasso, isolate the arm, make it a little bit easier to work on. Then I'm going to append my cylinder shape that I've already made using. I made it using a cylinder primitive. Isolated all the pieces that I needed and deleted the rest. Then I went to ZModeler and used the bridge points, 2 points, and just went around and added polygons until I had the shape that I wanted, and then divided it up into 2 separate polygroups. So once I append the cylinder and then resize it, so it's more appropriate. So just by circling around it from different angles, just going to see if I can't get the right position. That looks pretty close. Okay, so that's where I want my seam. So now if I turn up the distance and hit project O, it's going to now collapse that jigsaw type shape around the forms, which is quite useful. I think I'm actually going to divide it once. Oops. Place them back on top of each other and just project again. Because so the polygons sort of match up a little bit nicer. And with this model, I'm actually going to go split hidden and hide the body, just to make it a little easier to work with. Okay, so now I want to hide the center of the arm where I'm going to replace the geometry with this new jigsaw piece. So Control Shift, make sure I'm on draw, and I'll just leave a gap. Okay, close. That looks pretty good. Yep, okay, that's fine. So now I want to organize my subtools so I can do a delete hidden, merge down, press OK. Okay, so there's my pieces. Now I just need to connect them. So I find it's easiest and most probably accurate to use bridge edges and just I don't know. I could try and estimate where it's going to have a problem bridging the gap, and then I'll use concave hole. There you go. I tried using bridge 2 holes and I always get a bad result. So I tend to just bridge a couple of edges and then use close hole to fill in the gaps. Not very pretty, but it does the job. So I'm going to isolate these pieces, do an auto group. And now I'm going to Control W and merge those three polygroups together. Now I'll do the same again. Change it from close to bridge edges, and then bridge a couple of pieces, and then close concave hole. Okay. Isolate the pieces, do a new polygroup. There we go. And if I compare that, there we go. That's a decent enough job. If I was to use group split, and do expose, and turn on double, you can see that these sort of pieces match. The next step would be to cap off the insides and create my interconnecting pieces. So that's easy enough with solo mode. I'll turn polyframe back on, Z modeler, and I'm probably a bit lazy, but I just tend to use again close holes. Then transpose, hold control, click. Use the circle to center it, and then I just scale while holding control from the outside circle, and it gives me a new poly loop. Make it approximately as neat as I can. Then I will usually do another scale in with holding control. So I get another edge loop. I tend to then go to deformation, open up the circle and use polish by features. And it gives me a nice sort of circular shape. And then I'll press E again, scale in, and center it off, hold W, and extrude in. So that gives me sort of like a basic key shape. Then it's just a matter of Control Shift, isolating this poly group in the center, then Control Shift X to grow it by 1 edge loop to 3 edge loops. Now I'm going to hide the center again and Control W, make a new poly group for this section. So there we go. A key section, and if I wanted the positive side of it, I just isolate this section, do up in subtools, go to duplicate, then I'll delete hidden, and I'll flip, turn off double so I can see that I have actually flipped it, and then it's just a matter of finding the other end, merge down, and then weld points. So then I'll hold shift and just smooth out the edges and just make sure it actually welded. Sometimes it's a little bit out and I need to increase my weld distance, but that worked fine. Yep, that worked fine, so undo. And so now I have, once I unhide all this, expose again, yeah, 2 interlocking pieces with a complicated key shape. So this isn't exactly 100% perfect, but for a quick demonstration, it'll do. I would normally make the positive end of the key a bit smaller, so it'll fit better, and I don't have to do any sanding down later after the 3D print. But yeah, that's what I've been experimenting with. Now I could grab the top half, bring it up, and re-merge it with my other piece. And yeah, just a matter of going through and doing the same thing to the arms, the legs, the head, whatever I need to separate. Whether it really works or not, I'm not 100% sold on it, but it was an interesting idea. I could have tried a different shape piece, maybe smooth or straight along the outer edge, and on the inside edge just go up with one larger key shape. But yeah, it's worth a try, I suppose. Alright, anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope this helps someone more than it helps me.